Hey guys, before we get started, we want to tell you about our champion partners, including our Hall of Fame partners, Greg Vet Clinic, Hicks Chicks, Syra Technologies, Kenny Chesney's Blue Chair Bay Rum, J&J Flooring and Natural Stone, Concordia Bank and Trust, and Go Mart. So go visit all of our champion partners that you see on the screen right now. Make sure to do business with them and tell them Miss Lou Champion sent you. Enjoy the show. Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here. Welcome to another episode of Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. And do we have a champion in here today? When I first started doing this show, I thought that interviewing a guy that walked across the country or interviewing a lady that walked across the country twice, and she even had a truck stop, bathroom, monkey incident along the way. I thought those would have been the craziest things that I would hear while doing these interviews until this guy came along. Today's guest is part man, part machine. You may see him around town dressed in business clothes and think he's a normal dude. You would be wrong about that. This is not your average guy. This is a man who's a husband, a dad, and a successful private wealth advisor. You'd think that's the end of the story, but that's just the beginning. This guy's a runner who decided doing hard things would not be a slogan for him, it would be a lifestyle. He went from a college 10K at the Crescent City Classic to a sub-4 marathon under the Vegas lights. He's ran countless early morning miles on the Natchez Trace, kept his rhythm to Grateful Dead bootlegs, and methodically checked off every last state, earning membership to the 50 States Marathon Club along the way. He's raced across the Golden Gate, through New York's boroughs, past the Tetons in Jackson Hole, and he's toughed out Kansas heat, Iowa wind, and even a Maine marathon so cold that his hydration tube froze. You would think that would be the end of the story. You'd be wrong again. Now he's leveling up even more. He's preparing for the great world race. 7 marathons, 7 continents, in 7 days, starting Saturday, November the 15th. We had doctors check him out to make sure he didn't have some kind of fever and he was making bad decisions, but they said he's of sound mind. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Mr. Forrest Johnson.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Very kind words. Thank you.
How are you, man?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Look, I figured if you're going to go run 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days, then the least I could do is give a proper introduction. Right?
Well, thank you. That was very, very, very generous. Thank you.
Well, man, thank you for coming in and spending some time with us.
Yeah.
You're busy preparing and all of that stuff. I guess let's go back and start. This is your second time on the show. We had you a while back whenever you were completing your 50th state.
Yep.
And we thought that was something, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back. We'll kind of walk through some of that again for the people who hadn't seen it. Let's go back to that. So you started running in college, right?
Yeah, that's right. Really kind of started in college, and it was nothing serious. It was a really big deal the first time I ran a 10K. And, I thought 6.2 miles was, just some impossible distance. And it was at the time. And that's really what got it kicked off in New Orleans at the Crescent City Classic.
The Crescent City Classic. Yeah. And that was, you were at Ole Miss when you did
that?
That?
Yeah, I was at Ole Miss, and one of my roommates, Calvin Ratcliffe, is still one of my best buds. Keep in touch with him, and we just got this idea to go down there, and it's always a Saturday before Easter, and so we were going to kind of be coming home anyways, and just had a great time, and I'd never done anything like that before with so many people, and the excitement and the energy, and something about it just really attracted me.
Wow. So you had no clue that this was going to be something that just you fell in love with?
I really didn't. And,
wow.
It's kind of interesting because sometimes I'll think about it now and I'm thinking, how did I get here? Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, you did that, and then did you run a half at St. Jude after that?
I did. And, we ran the Crescent City Classic, for several years. And I mean, that was it. And it wasn't like I was running year round, starting about end of February. We'd say, all right, we got to start getting some miles in, getting ready for this deal in the spring. And, but yeah, got the first half in St. Jude at Memphis. So, yeah.
Wow. So what was it that made you flip that switch and say, I want to do this full thing?
Yeah, it was interesting. Ran the half, and I thought, okay, let me just do one full. I kind of need to see what it's all about. I mean, and I think my mindset's such that I like to kind of press distances. I like a goal. I like a challenge, and so it was just the idea that, hey, let's try to just do one time, just get it done, and so that was kind of the mindset at the time.
How many years was that after you did the 10K, or is that pretty soon after?
Several years, 10, 15. I mean,
Oh,
we're
goodness.
talking,
Wow.
tremendous
Wow.
amount of time.
Okay.
And, even when I ran that half in Memphis, it was probably, I'm going off the cuff, but, 6, 7 years until I ran the full. And so this was not a quick progression. This really took a time to progress. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so it wasn't like one of those things you just caught the fire and you started running like crazy. It was just a progression, and you just kind of, it was always something that
Yeah.
would come back around for you.
It would, and looking back, it's kind of interesting because it's really hard to build the base to scale your miles to that level. And so, looking back, I don't know that it's something you can do real quickly. And so it took literally years of just kind of building that base, developing the base to work up to a full marathon.
If I remember correctly from the first one, you were chasing that sub 4 for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about that. You
Yeah.
finally got it.
I finally got it, and that's really what got me running more than one marathon. And, the first goal was I just wanted to run one. And there were several that I had signed up for, and I just wasn't in the condition to compete it. There was I moved my business at one point, and that kind of disrupted the training for one of them. So there were several kind of life events or, excuses, whatever it is, but it took a while to build up to it. And when I ran that first one, something about it just really, it's hard to explain the sense of accomplishment and just how good it felt, because I knew how hard I'd worked to do it, and that feeling felt really good.
Yeah. Where were you? Where were you at when you started? So sub 4. I'm not a big runner, but that's sub 4 hours.
Yeah.
So where were you like when you first started that?
Yeah, the first one I ran was in Savannah, Georgia, and I think I ran probably a 4:20, 4:15, something in there, and then I didn't really think much about time at that point. And then I ran in New Orleans about a couple months later. It was in February when they did the rock and roll marathon event there, and I ran 4 hours, 1 minute and 6.16 seconds. And, I thought, okay, well, this is cool. I'm close. Let me break 4. So, I literally waited a year, came back and ran the same race in New Orleans a year later, and I did a 4:00.24. And that haunted me. I'd get note cards and I'd write 4:00:24, and I'd put them, in the bathroom. I'd put them, so I'd have to look at it, and it kind of motivated me to, hey, you can do a little bit better and get under that.
Wow, man. So are you aware of where you're at on time-wise whenever you're in the middle of this, or are you just...
You get a feel, but it's really tough because you're talking tenths of a second. And so it's, it can be, any little, hiccup can really throw your time off. And so you get a pretty good feel of the cadence, but at the same time, when it's that tight, you really don't know. And I remember when I finally got the sub 4 hour in Las Vegas, now you got the times posted almost immediately. Then it took about 5 or 6 hours after the event, and I just remember just refresh. And look, when it popped up and I saw that 3, I had just the biggest grin on my face. I was excited.
I can only imagine. Were you over there buttering up the numbers people? Hey, man, can I get you a Coke or something?
Whatever it took. Whatever
Making
it
sure
took.
They see your number.
That's right. You gotta just be a push out a little bit, whatever it takes. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that there's some that obviously you've got all different elevations.
Yep.
You've got different hillage, or I'm sure that I think I might have just made that word up, but
that'd be of course.
But
Yeah.
we know what we're saying.
Yeah.
I'm sure that some of them would be like almost impossible to break sub. So
Sure,
you have to
sure.
be probably like Vegas or
Yeah.
like, is Vegas flatter or is
It was relatively flat,
Yeah.
and then it was at night, and so cool in the desert, and so
Yeah.
that really helped. The heat works against you, but
Yeah.
you do want a flat course. As the courses go, Chicago is one of the fastest courses. Just a couple weeks ago, the U.S. men's record was broken at the race in Chicago, and so flat, very little hills of any sort, and so you want a flat, fast course.
Yeah. Where do they run in Chicago? Just out of
They'll
curiosity.
start at Grant Park,
Yeah.
and you kind of go through all different sections of town, and then end up back at Grant Park. So
Wow, man. That's a beautiful city too.
really is, really is.
Yeah. So whenever I'm just curious, not to stick on the time thing, we'll move on, but does it become like a math thing? Like, do you say do you pace yourself the whole time, or do you speed up, slow down, or how do you, what's that, I don't know, whatever you call it, game plan going in?
Yeah, the game plan, so you're trying to say, okay, I need to run, 9 minutes, 13-second miles. And so, generally you're running faster at the beginning than at the end. Okay. Not always the case, but generally. And so you think, okay, when I come out the gate, I need to be 9:05, 9:06, and then that gives me a little slack at the end. And so that's exactly the game plan. And you're trying to, when you do get a little tired or when you're going up a hill, okay, maybe you take it off a little bit, but you can't take it off too much. And if you took it off, you got to kind of make it up somewhere. So there's this mental accounting kind of going on. Yeah.
So you're kind of doing the math in your head.
You
sort
are.
of,
Yeah.
And I guess after you've been doing it so long, you sort of know this pace, like naturally.
You do.
This pace is a 9-minute mile, I guess.
You do. Your body gets very, very attuned to the cadence, and so you can. It's interesting. I can. A lot of times I'll be within, really close. I can guess what it's going to be, and I'll check my watch, and sure enough, it's pretty much on the money.
So has technology changed the way that you run or anything?
I don't know that it really has. And, the watches are better, so you've got the data more readily available. But if you're looking at your watch the whole time, that's probably counterproductive. And so in an ironic way, it could be a little work against you. But, I tend to kind of try to zone out as much as I can and just listen to my body and do what I'm there to do.
Do you do music? Do you do?
I do.
remember you saying that's what the Grateful Dead
Yeah.
thing,
Still love putting in a
doing
Dead
that?
show, and just put it on and go, and so kind of get lost a long melodic kind of jam, and it works really well.
So when did a couple of marathons become, I think I'll do all 50 states? How did that come into play?
Yeah, so really the chasing the time was kind of how it started, because there was never any, starting out, there was never any intention of running 50 or, doing anything like that. And I ran that second one in New Orleans a year later, and, I was so close to getting the time, so I knew I was going to do another one. I'm putting, note cards in my office, in the closet, everywhere, so I can see it, just remind myself of that time. And I started thinking, maybe I start running somewhere else just in case. You're aware that people have kind of done this. And so I kind of wasn't a decision to necessarily go after it, but it was, hey, let me not just run the same one every time. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hit another spot.
Yeah.
So how many have you done now total?
56.
56 total.
Yeah.
Hit all 50 states.
All 50 states.
We kind of went through this in the first interview that we did, but I kind of want to walk back through it again. Like, let's talk about the 50 states.
Yep.
What were your favorites?
Yeah, a lot of really good ones. San Francisco, running across the Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, that just really is seared into my mind, and I really enjoyed that. Wyoming, the Tetons. Listen, Boston was just, it's hallowed ground. You've got the memorial where the bomb blast went off at the finish line, and just a really special place. The New York Marathon, you run 26 miles and there's always 1 million people within your eyesight. I mean, just packed people everywhere. And so just the energy in some of those bigger races is really, really impressive.
So where do they do New York? Is that, I mean, is that Manhattan? Is that downtown?
You hit all the boroughs, all 5 boroughs, and so you literally get a foot tour of New York City, and it's remarkable. It's so cool. You know, you take a cab, you know, and you go from the airport to a hotel, and yeah, you get to see some stuff, but it's not like running through the city, and so it's just such a great way to really see a city.
Man, I can't even imagine. I always tell people that Natchez is a lot different.
Yeah,
When
sure.
you walk it versus driving around, like when you're walking, you really see how beautiful some of these homes are, and you're like, wow, just the detail and stuff. So I can only imagine a place like New York City just running through the streets.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, you really appreciate the architecture, the gardens, I mean, there's just so much detail that, you know, you see it, but you don't see it the same way when you drive by. Yeah.
Do you do you ever get caught up with people around you, or are you strictly competing against yourself?
I'm really competing against myself, and you know, I generally run by myself, and I've got some buddies, some colleagues. You know, if we're at a conference, we may get up, go for a run together, that kind of thing. And I love doing that. I love the social aspect, but you know, sometimes it throws you off. You know, I've got a pace I'm trying to keep, and I don't want to come out too hot or too slow, and so I really just enjoy, and also the solitude of it. That's the only time where I can kind of turn off, where I'm not having to be on. I'm not having to be on my cell phone or be available, and so I just enjoy that escape. It's something I really enjoy.
Yeah. What about training and all of that? I mean, from my understanding, you don't really run a full. It's not like you run a full marathon to prepare for a marathon, right?
Correct.
If I'm not mistaken, you run further some days and then you dial it back and all of that.
That's exactly it.
Is there a certain formula that you like to use for that?
There is. You sort of kind of stair step up, a gradual progression of your long runs. And, you know, usually when you get about 2.5 weeks out from the marathon, you really take your foot off the gas. You kind of, the hay's in the barn. You stop putting in the miles, and you really let your body recover. And so you're rested and is in as good a condition as you can be for the race. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That way you're not, you're healed, I guess, from all of that running.
That's exactly it. I mean, lifting weights or anything, right? You stress the muscle, it breaks it down. Then there's got to be that time to heal and recover, come back stronger.
Yeah. How do your knees feel after all these marathons?
Feel great.
Do you?
Feel really good. Yeah.
You've never had from that mileage?
Knock on wood, no, never had any issues. And listen, it's not lost on me that there can be orthopedic issues, and you know, it's one of these things that you know, if you hang out and eat Twinkies on the couch, you're probably gonna have cardiovascular issues, and so you know, there's trade-offs, and so I'm comfortable with the set of trade-offs I'm taking.
And I think last time we talked about the shoes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's a big deal.
Yeah.
What's your plan and all that with shoes?
Yeah. So, you know, it's funny, you go in my closet and there's just stacks of shoes, you know, and I try to keep usually about 3, you know, going at a time. And, you know, it's interesting for the event that we're getting ready for, and this wasn't really on my mind, but they say you get a size bigger shoe for races later in the week. Your foot may swell a little bit. And so I don't know if I like the way that sounds, but so I've got, you know, all my 11.5s, and then I've got a pair of 12s just in case. So, yeah.
So do you have a sponsor or anything like that?
No sponsors. And Brooks, I think we talked about the first time, still running in them. And, you know, I'm kind of one of these, if I find something that works, I stick to it. I don't need to know every dadgum thing that's out there. I find something that works, I just lock into it and keep riding it.
Well, I'm gonna have to hound them, man. I'm gonna get them on the phone and be like, look, I have got the guy for you. You're paying these influencers. I've got your guy right here. Trust me. Let's talk about some of the tougher races, because I enjoyed you talking about those.
Yeah.
I remember you were talking about Kansas and Iowa and Maine last time.
Sure.
We could talk about those and any others that come to mind.
Yeah, those were, you know, definitely tough. That Kansas race, it was hot. I mean, hot. That was the only race I've ever really thought I wasn't going to finish, there were a couple of times where I really kind of had to slow down, and I even remember, there's no shade trees out there. There was one pitiful little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and it wasn't any shade. But I kind of sat there for a second, and I, kind of had to get myself together. Yeah. But no, that was really tough, and. Mississippi, when I finished on the coast, and it was poured down rain that day, and just a washout rain, and look, there wasn't any doubt that I was finishing that day, but just made it a challenge. And so that's one of the things, there's always something that's going to go against you, or you can't anticipate every variable in these things, and so you just got to have the mindset that whatever happens, whatever comes at me, I'm going to push through and I'm going to be successful.
So if it's raining, there's no rain out, huh? You just roll with it?
You get wet, yeah. If it's lightning,
crazy.
they will, yeah. So, if it's lightning, and it's interesting, when I was in Little Rock, there was a rainstorm kind of blowing in, and I was probably mile 23, 24, far in the course. And I remember, one of the aid stations, I could hear some chatter, people saying, well, we better hurry up because if there's lightning, they're going to call the race. And I just thought, oh my goodness, I don't want to run 95% of the way and not finish. And so that put a little pep in my step. But, it happens from time to time. It's not often, but there will be races that get canceled for lightning. And, if it's rain, they're going to run it. But lightning, that's where they'll draw the line.
Have you had any that you were halfway in or some of the way in and they canceled it?
Never one that I was in the middle of.
Yeah.
When I went to South Dakota, there was a washout rain, and something, I can't remember exactly what it was, but they actually canceled the marathon the night of. And I remember I didn't get the memo. And so, it's that morning.
There'd be more people out here.
Well, exactly. So I've got my bib on. I'm in the elevator going down. I'm, psyched up, ready to go. And there's a different bib for the marathon than the half. And so, there was a guy on the elevator with me, and he was running the half, and he made a comment, and I already had my earbuds in. I'm locked in. I'm getting ready to go. And he's like, yeah, it's a bummer about the marathon. And I thought, whoa, what? And so there was some trees that had fallen. I can't remember all the details, but they canceled the full, and then, they still ran the half. So I ran the half, and I was
So you had to go back to check it off the list?
Yeah, and I went back like 2 weeks later. I found another one in South Dakota. and really, that was kind of the mindset that, look, this is going to haunt me. I set out to get one in South Dakota. I'm going back. And so, yeah.
I think you may have given this answer earlier, but I'll ask it again a different way. Is there one memory of you like crossing that finish line that you're like, wow, man, this is amazing?
Yeah,
I know you mentioned Boston, so I'm sure that's up there.
Boston was definitely up there. The first one, Savannah, Georgia, that first one, there was something special about that. And, we talked about the training. You never run the full 26.2 in your training. So, the most I had done in training was 20 miles. So you still got 10K to go. And so you've got this, you're doing something, you're going to a place you've never gone. And so I remember being fatigued, being disoriented, and just thinking, what have I got myself into? I just got a little twisted. And then I looked up and I saw the mile 26 sign, and I thought, I'm there. And it was just such a feeling because it was somewhere I'd never gone before. I'd never pushed it that far. And that feeling when I crossed that first time was special.
That's amazing, man. I admire anybody that would just push like that. It's the human brain is amazing, and the human body is amazing. But it's really as much of a mental thing as it is a physical thing.
I really think it is.
Yeah.
And look, you got to have the physical attributes. You got to be trained. You can't just show up. But it's more of a mental challenge and just a motivation and grit, determination. It's probably two parts that, one part physical.
Yeah, this isn't on my little notes here, but now that you mentioned grit, what would you say are some lessons that carry over to your everyday life that you've gained from this discipline that you have?
Yeah, it's going to be okay. You're going to get there. And, life is full of adversity and full of setbacks. And, private wealth advisor, a lot of the uncertainty in my life is around the stock market. And, there's a tremendous amount of things I can't control, I can't influence. And there's strategies we take, things we do to brace and prep. But there's adversity that's going to come. And so, kind of, so what, now what? All right. This, we got punched in the mouth. What do we do next? Let's keep going.
Yeah, that's, that's grit in real life, right?
It is. Yeah.
So speaking of that, what is your hit the wall toolkit consist of whenever you're in there and you're like, oh man, what am I going to do now?
Yeah. I try to really just slow it down, and I slow it down just in my mind. Breathe, posture, take the next step, and just really focus on my stride. Try not to stress about what mile I'm on or what mile's coming next or what hill. Just really breathe, stride, breathe, and you usually pop out of it. And that's what's so remarkable about it is you hit these walls and it's not with you the rest of the race. You'll push through it and then you're good.
So is breathing one of the, is from 1 to 10, is breathing like a 10, that on importance scale?
I think so. And, I've got a lot of experience running them, but I've never, studied them from a physiological perspective or anything like that, in an academic way. But I think the ability to get oxygen to your muscles is at the core of any endurance activity. And so, just getting that oxygen in, deep breaths, supplying that to your muscles. And so I just try to focus on the breathing and just keep going.
Is it you breathe through your nose and out your mouth? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I am. Now, I might be a mouth breather sometimes when it gets tough, but that's generally
but you're trying to consciously
just kind of
breathe a certain way.
Yeah, and you kind of get a rhythm with your stride, right? So you're kind of, and then a couple steps and then exhale. And so there's a cadence that you kind of get locked into. Yeah.
Yeah. So the fuel between the fuel during, let's talk about I guess during too, huh?
Sure. Yeah.
And then post.
Yeah.
I think I remember what you said post last time, and it kind of cracked me up, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I still love that chicken from Popeyes, and nothing better than chicken and biscuits after a long run. But
look, you run a marathon, you deserve that chicken from Popeyes.
Oh yeah. Right. Hard to beat it.
So how do you prepare? Nutritionally and then during the middle too?
Yeah, I kind of think about a week out. And so, if you think about where you are in your training, you've really decreased the miles you're running. Okay, so you're not burning as many calories in your taper. So you want to be careful. You're not trying to add weight. And so I'm usually pretty light the first, let's say the race is on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'm eating a salad, protein, maybe, light carbs here and there. And then as you get closer, you kind of accelerate the carbs, maybe a sandwich and then, pasta, and really that kind of day before, usually I'll try to have a, big sandwich type, something for lunch, and then a pasta or rice, real heavy carbs the night before. And then, an energy bar and a cup of coffee the morning of, and then take energy bars with me on the run. And a lot of people like the gels, which those are good. I've used them. I just really prefer the energy bars. And so, to each their own.
What do those have in them? Is it a lot of carbs?
A lot of carbs. They'll have some protein to kind of balance it out, but you're really trying to get carbohydrates. That's really the glycogen, the fuel that your body needs at that point. And so trying to do that. And then the electrolytes are important. And, as I've gotten older, I do think about the nutrition aspect more today than maybe I did last time we talked, and just trying to be more proactive about getting the electrolytes in earlier, and I think that really kind of helps prevent some of the crash or the burnout or the wall maybe by getting them in early.
Yeah. So are you carrying like a little bag on your back or something like that, or you have like stuff in your
I'm not.
maybe a fanny pack?
Yeah, no, I like to go just as simple as I can. I don't want anything on me, no attachments, and so usually just put them in my pockets. These running shorts, I'll have pockets on the side and usually in the back, and so kind of stick a couple bars in there, and I usually take the first one between mile 8 and 9, and then, usually mile 16, 17, then usually the third one around mile 23.
Wow, man. So let's talk about. So you did all 50 states, man. That's a huge accomplishment. Do you have any idea of how many people have done that?
I do, and I don't want to tell you the number because they publish it on their website, but I want to say it's maybe 2,000, a couple thousand, something like that. So it's not a huge number that have successfully gotten all 50 states.
So you're in a very, very, very small fraternity of people who ran all 50 states or completed marathons in all 50 states.
Yeah.
Now you're about to be in a much smaller fraternity of people who have even attempted what you're about to attempt.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears. This is called, from what I saw, the Great World Race.
Yes.
Why is this the next mountain? How did this come about?
Some of my buddies and colleagues from running the 50 states, we're friends on Facebook. And so, saw some chatter, earlier in the year about this event that was going to be going on in November. And, I thought, wow, that's remarkable, and I'd already, had this goal of, a geographic based, goal with running. And I thought, wow, this would be so cool. And, and then the next thing you think is, okay, maybe I'll do it in a year or two, something like that. And, I remember, I didn't think much about it. And then, a week went by and I kept kind of thinking about it. And then I kind of realized, if I'm going to do something like that, I need to do it now. I don't need to assume I'll be able to do it in a year or, so that was kind of the mindset. And then it just went from there.
What do you think that you've learned over doing all the marathons that you've completed that prepares you for seven marathons in 7 days, or is there no way to prepare for this? And
it's difficult, right? I mean, it's not the same formula to get ready and run one, right? Yeah, you got to run one, but then you got to turn around and do it again 7 times. And so, the thing I think about is just show up. I've never shown up and not finished. And so that's kind of the mindset I take. I'm going to show up, and I may not be the fastest, but you're not going to outwork me. I'm going to outwork you. I'm going to outgrit you, and I'm going to cross that finish line.
So normally when you finish one, what is that next day like?
Yeah,
sore and all that, or
you're sore. You maybe get up, go for a walk a little bit, just kind of loosen up. Kind of get a massage gun or a roller wheel to just kind of just get some oxygen going to your muscles, and you're really just kind of laying low. I mean, that's usually the prescription, and this is different because now it's get up and do it again. And it's going to be a challenge. There's no two ways about it, but I'm excited.
So this route, if I'm not mistaken, this is what I looked up. It says Antarctica to Africa, to Australia, to the Middle East, to Europe, to South America, to the USA.
That's it.
I was telling Melissa that if I just had to fly that in 7 days, I would be exhausted.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pop a marathon in between each one.
I'm not going to be tethered to a time zone. It's going to be strange. I mean, I will be. I'm not quite sure what to expect in terms of that. But the travel alone is going to be a challenge.
How many people or guys and gals or whoever? How many people?
There's 60 people. 60 people in the field.
What is do you have any idea what the success rate in this is, or the finish rate?
My understanding, this is the second year that they've done this event. And, I think most everybody finished last year. And, I think the people that are signing up for this are pretty determined. And so, they're going to show up, they're going to finish.
No doubt about it. If you even try this, you got some determination in there somewhere.
That's right.
So what about, I'm just trying to think, man, like how this even looks practically speaking. Like the sleep, do you sleep on flights?
Yeah.
Do you understand? Like, I'm assuming that you finish and then you eat and then you get on a plane or something?
Yeah, that's basically it. And what we'll do, we're going to meet in Cape Town, South Africa. So everybody will meet up there. We'll have a couple of briefings, and then the morning of the 15th, we'll fly down to Antarctica. It's about a 5.5 hour flight from Cape Town. We'll be on the ice for about 8 hours. So we'll land and literally kind of get out, get set up, and start running. And we'll finish the marathon and then hop back on the plane back to Cape Town. And next day, we're running in Cape Town.
So you're going to be able to say, yeah, I went to Antarctica once for about 8 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like, medical staff,
Yeah.
therapy, ice, massages and all that. Do they have a team that travels with you guys for all of that?
They do. They'll have 2 doctors that'll be traveling with us on the flight, and several therapists and a lot of support staff. So there'll be a group traveling with us. Yeah.
So this is a special plane, I'm assuming, where you guys get on the plane and you have maybe a little cot or something.
It is. They'll have kind of fold out, beds. So we'll be able to sleep on the plane. Yeah.
Man, let's look at. So you go to from Antarctica to Africa.
Yep.
So you're going to change, I guess, environments,
Sure.
climates.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
Very quickly.
What are you anticipating there?
It's going to be a little warmer than Antarctica, and so that's going to be part of the challenge too. I've got ski goggles, and you wear a layered system for Antarctica, and so you got to be prepped. It's not like your 10-day forecast that we're used to getting. I mean, you're not exactly sure what's coming down there, and so you got to be prepped for a lot of wide range of weather situations, and then you turn around the next day and you're in a completely different climate, and so just kind of being prepared and anticipating, what we've got to be prepped for.
And you're going to take your own shoes and all that. So you're going to have like 9 boxes of shoes going with you?
I travel light, and I'll be working this weekend on getting everything packed up, but I'm going to carry on. I'm going to take 1 suitcase and a backpack, and I'll take a couple pair of shoes, but that's it. I'm going to take what I need, and that's it.
So how many pairs of shoes do you think you'll go through in 7 days?
I'm probably going to have 3, and I'll have 2 pair that I'll probably alternate each day, and then I'll have that size heavier in case my feet swell. And I didn't like when they said that, and it never crossed my mind, but I'm prepared for it. So.
Oh my goodness! So with this particular strategy, are you going in thinking time at all, or is this more so just finish it, maybe slower pace on purpose?
It's slower pace on purpose, and that's actually going to be kind of a challenge, especially in the first couple races. I'm in the best condition I've ever been in. So when I start running, my propensity is you feel good, you're in great shape, put the foot on the gas. And so it's really going to kind of have to fight that to pull back a little bit.
Man, like I'm thinking nutrition too. So they're going to have nutrition on the flights and all that. I guess all this is built in, right?
It's built in. I mean, they'll serve meals on the plane, and it's and I'm not. I don't want to say I'm not thinking about that part of it, but I'm trusting that these guys are going to have all that put together, and I'm confident they will.
Yeah.
And so, and that's kind of, I hope I'm not being naive with that, but I'm taking the assumption that, hey, they're going to have this part figured out, and my nutrition that I'll take when I run, I'll have that. I'll have a little bag for every day with protein powder after the race, IV, liquid IV before, and all the things that I'll take. But in terms of the meal and the real food, we're gonna eat what they serve.
Have you been able to? I mean, I guess it's not like Google where people leave reviews and you go down, Amazon reading all the customer reviews. Have you gotten any feedback from the people that did it last year, anything like that? Number one, as far as like for what to expect, but then number two, like is it the same, even if it's the same routes and stuff like that?
Yeah. So, no direct feedback from them, but it's interesting because a lot of the participants that did it last year, you can go on YouTube, you can see a lot of videos that they posted. And so I've done a lot of that, especially in Antarctica. They give you a gear checklist, and that's great, but then also kind of watching what people are wearing. Okay, you know what? I didn't think about that. That's cool. Okay. Or, and so just trying to kind of see. And one of the things that was interesting, some pictures, people have some pretty heavy jackets on. Some of them, they're kind of down to a vest and a long sleeve. And I think part of that is maybe where you are in the race. When we first start, we'll have probably more clothes on, but depending on the wind chill, probably going to take some layers off as you go. And but that's sort of the prepping for it, just having the layers to plan for whatever comes.
You're just going by yourself? Any family going with you?
Julie and Mary Blair, they're going to meet me in Miami when we finish. Okay. And, we talked about maybe Julie making the trip to Antarctica, and we couldn't get the dates to quite work out. So and this is kind of, I don't, shady might be the right word, but, I hope I'm not on a terrorist watch list or something. I bought a one-way ticket to Africa. And so after I booked it, I started thinking, I was like, wait a second, this might get me on some list. So
you're definitely going to get caught up at the...
Right. They may want to ask me some questions.
Pre-check,
yeah.
They're going to have some questions for sure. Oh, man. So do you know some of the routes? Are you prepared in any way? Do you know which ones are hilly, which ones are fast, which ones are slow?
I do. So we've got a lot of information just on the routes, and most of them are going to be fairly flat. And so, I think they've done a good job of, finding some places that are going to be reasonably good courses to run. And it's really the temperature and the climate that's going to be the challenge. And so in South America, we're on the equator. I mean, it's going to be hot. And, it's just, and so that's going to be, the climate's going to really be the challenge.
Are you, any plans for maybe wearing like a little GoPro or anything like that and kind of documenting it, coming back and putting it all together?
No, that's not my style. I don't know how to figure it out. Feels like a lot. And so, but I promised Julie I would do this. I never run with my phone, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to take my phone so I'll be able to take pictures and, have it with me. There's also a media crew that's going to be traveling with us. And so I'm hopeful I'll be able to lean on the media crew to kind of get a lot of good pictures as we go as well. So
I'm just thinking the world I live in, how cool it would be to kind of have that. But it's kind of cool just to have that in your head too,
Well, and that's kind of my style. I mean, I'm not one of these people that walks around living life behind my phone. I'm just going to watch it with my eyes.
Yeah. I know you go to concerts and everybody's like recording and stuff. I'm like, you what? Just he's right there.
Right. They're right there. Move the device from in front of your face.
Just watching it on your phone. Yeah. He's actually right there. Yeah. Man. So I guess that's whenever you get back to Miami, and you is that the last one in Miami?
It is. I will finish in Miami. Yeah.
So when you cross that finish line in Miami, what are you gonna? What do you anticipate that field being?
I'm really not sure, and I don't know what kind of shape I'm going to be in. I'm, obviously going to be tired, going to be worn out, but we'll see. And Julie and Mary Blair are going to come down to meet us. My parents are going to come down there. So excited to have them to see us finish up, and I'm sure we'll go grab a big dinner somewhere, and it might be at 5 o'clock eating the early bird, but that's okay.
That's all right. Too.
Yeah.
Are these most of them in the morning? Is that?
Yes and no. It's interesting. There's going to be a couple of them that are at night, and so you're doing these in 7 days across all these time zones, and so a couple of them are going to be actually at night. In South America, I believe we're going to start running maybe around 10:30, 11 at night. So, it's going to be interesting. And, I mentioned earlier about just not being tethered to a time zone. It's run and then 24 hours, run and then 24 hours, regardless of what time it is where you're going. And so that's going to be one of the big logistical challenges.
Do you are you normally a good sleeper? Are you worried about sleeping?
I'm really not. I usually sleep pretty well. I'm one of these guys. I mean, I can sleep on sitting in a coach seat in an airplane,
Can you? Okay.
yeah, wedged in between people. So I usually don't have trouble sleeping, but I got a little sleep mask and some earplugs, and so, we'll see. But I really don't anticipate that, especially after a run. My body's tired and, time to rest.
Yeah. Man, I guess before we get you out of here, anybody that's well before that, who created this event? Is this like a military
It's
person that created
it's
this?
not a military person. There's a group out of Ireland, a couple of doctors, and then there's an endurance coach. I think they've trained some Olympic athletes,
Okay.
and they kind of put this together. And so, we've had some Zoom calls with them, met them, through that. And I'm looking forward to meeting these guys in person. But just a remarkable group of people, and really excited to meet some of the other participants, and just looking forward to just looking forward to meeting these guys.
I'm sure you guys will probably keep up for the rest of your lives.
Probably so. Probably so. I think this is going to be a pretty bonding experience that we'll go through. So probably a lot of bonding, and we'll have some good memories that we'll be able to share.
So this is actually something that, I mean, you could honestly say, like, I've done something that most SEAL teams and Navy, all those guys can't do,
Well,
or haven't done.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to be able to say.
I'm excited. It's going to be a big challenge, but very excited about it.
Yeah. Well, last question, man. Anybody out there that's just thinking about even starting on a health journey or starting to run or anything like that, where would you tell them advice, where to start and all that?
Yeah, put one foot in front of the other, and keep it simple. And the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and that's really true. And you don't get to run a mile without running 100 yards. And so it's literally take one step and go, and then the next day take one more step, and then the day after that take another step. And so just keep pushing, and you're not going to do it in a single day or a single week, but consistently just get better. And that's kind of a mindset I like to take. I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. And so I think that's really kind of the spirit of it there. Yeah.
Well, man, we appreciate you. I'm pulling for you the whole way.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate your time. And I'd be remiss if I didn't share this with you. One of the things I'm doing running is we're running really to raise awareness and raise money for breakthrough type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
My daughter Mary Blair was diagnosed at age 4 about 9 years ago, and so we're very passionate, do a lot of work. Julie's on the board of directors with the Mississippi chapter, and so that's one of my goals is that I'm going to be running to raise awareness and money for breakthrough T1D, and so just real excited about the great work that group's doing, and they're very close to a cure, and so just excited to have this opportunity to bring awareness to the work they're doing. So really excited about that as well.
If you guys want to support in any way, that's the way to do it, right?
Fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, man, I'm a little envious that that you're doing something amazing. Makes me feel worthless. I'm like, man, what am I doing over here?
Nah, you're doing great. You're doing great.
No, but I'm proud to know somebody that's attempting something so tremendous. It's awesome. It's inspiring, I guess, is the word, and makes everybody around want to do better.
Well, thank you.
So thanks for coming in and sharing that with us, and we'll chat again whenever you get back. We'll do another one and see,
Absolutely.
hear how it went.
Look forward to it. And thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure being with you.
Well, thank you, man, and thank you guys for tuning in. I know you enjoyed this as much as I did. Again, what he's doing is such an amazing accomplishment just to even attempt it. So let's go back to what he said right there at the end, because a lot of people will say, how can I help in this and that? Just donate $100, $5, or whatever it may be. It all adds up. So if he could do that, we could give a little bit of money to it. So anyway, thank you to all the viewers out there. Thank you to all of our partners. Without our partners, none of these interviews are possible. So thank you guys for that. God bless everybody out there. God bless you on this trip, man.
Thank you.
And as always, have a champion day. Hey guys, Ronnie Calhoun here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. and I want to tell you about our awesome partners, Wardo's Po' Boys. Wardo's was created in honor of Alan Ward Granning III, fondly known by family and friends as Wardo. In 2019, the oldest brother of the tribe passed away unexpectedly. His remaining siblings and loved ones wanted to honor his memory in a special way. In 2022, Ward's family decided to combine the need for a sandwich shop in downtown Natchez with a desire to pay tribute to Ward's love of good friends, good times, and great food. Through blood, sweat, tears, and countless hours of hard work, Wardo's was born. So go visit Wardo's today at 309 North Broadway Street in Natchez, where the po' boys are so good, you'll swear you're in Cajun country. Guys, Ronnie and Shannon here with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight.
And we're here at our amazing partners, Gregg Veterinary Hospital.
Gregg Veterinary Hospital has been providing comprehensive, reliable, cutting-edge veterinary services to pets in the Miss Lou since 2002.
They welcome pets of all shapes and sizes who are in need of emergency treatment or who require routine medical, surgical, and dental care.
Dr. Gregg and his team offer a long list of services, including in-house laboratory diagnostics, digital x-ray, soft tissue, orthopedic surgery, dental care, extractions, laser surgery, laser therapy, preventative health, and wellness plans.
And if you need grooming and boarding services, they do that too.
So call Gregg Vet today.
Hi, it's Shannon with Miss Lou Champion Spotlight. If you like what we're doing, be sure to follow, like, share, and even comment on all our content. Also, visit MissLouChampions.com to sign up for our newsletter and to receive other information, as well as the opportunity to receive some awesome prizes. Thank you, Miss Lou, for your continued support, and as always, have a champion day.